Tre Mann was probably the most irrelevant player for the Hornets, and it's tough to watch at times. And I can't remember where or when I mentioned this earlier in the season, but I'm just not sure his role and his play style fits with this Hornets offensive system. When the Hornets are at their best, they are giving the ball up quickly, passing it, moving it. The ball is not sticking. And I think that's the first thing you think about with Mann. For all of his good with his defensive rebounding, his ability to create separation with some of these step backs, he also has to rely a lot on the pull up game. And that typically starts with him trying to break down the defense with his handle. And while it's skillful and you like that he has that within his game, I think overall this season has been a down one for Mann. And obviously he's coming off an injury that he's having to deal with. We don't know in terms of his comfort level, but yeah, it's been a tough watch for Tre Mann this season, and he's not getting a lot of minutes as of late. And with Josh Green coming into play and Sion James coming into play, Sexton is getting back healthy. You wonder where his role is with this team, even though he was recently signed this summer. So for all he does well with maybe his overall standing within the team and the players gravitating towards him, his on-court play has definitely been lackluster this season. And yeah, I don't know where you go from here with Tre Mann. But LaMelo Ball, mixture of good and bad from him last night. Inefficient player inside the arc. I thought his floater game was severely lacking. But when he can get his lower body calm and set up, he becomes such a better shooter from deep. That one play that I referenced earlier with Salon's extra pass to Ball, just go back and watch LaMelo's lower half on that shot. Mostly still, right? Up and down, it's balanced. Those are the shots that you love to see from him. You don't like to see him always take the pull-up shots. It's more of the catch and shoot three-pointers that we have probably been talking about since his first or second year in the league in terms of getting him off ball. Like if you are a listener of Buzzbeat, that's something that we've been harping on a lot. And he just becomes a better player and the team becomes better, as I mentioned with Tre Mann, when he can get off the ball quickly. There's times when possessions end poorly, and a lot of times it occurs with him over dribbling or Tre Mann over dribbling. But LaMelo is much more effective, or the team is much more effective, let me put it that way, when he can get off the ball and he's not touching it that often unless he's making a pass, breaking it on defense and finding someone on a wraparound pass near the paint. But I thought last night, while he was inefficient, LaMelo was mostly effective, if that makes any sense. So I don't think he was necessarily an efficient shooter, but overall he made an impact. And you could probably say the same thing about Brandon Miller. His efficiency is still a work in progress, but I still like the little things that he's been able to do. His blocks have been fun to watch. I talked about that on the last episode, but his length will always be a factor on defense. And if he can expend the necessary energy on that end of the court, he's going to be more involved there with his event creation. I think his third quarter, well, I don't think it definitely was. His third quarter was his best quarter last night. He had a mixture of floaters, pull up threes, but I thought his most impressive play was a dribble move that he pulled off late in the game versus Banchero. It was on the left side of the court. He crosses it over to his right hand at first near the short corner area. Then as he crosses it back to his left side, it was a very odd, unique looking play. He gathers it low and creates some separation with this like sidestep crossover. Very unique looking. Just go back and watch that. But that is something that you're starting to see a little bit more of with Miller, just his on ball game. And with Khan being a guy that has some off ball gravity, LaMelo off ball gravity, Miller has it too, but it feels like maybe Miller can be the guy that can work inside the arc, inside the paint. Khan has that ability too, but Miller is slowly working back from this injury, and maybe the long distance shooting is something that will be more of a work in progress, but his in between game is something that you're starting to see uptick a little bit more as well.